I like keeping people also on their toes.
Keeping them on their toes, figuratively and literally.
Yes.
I see you. That's philosopher talk right there. You're right.
The Nation.Africa Digital Summit is bringing together the continent's most indigenous marketers and business and thought leaders to share relevant knowledge and frameworks for implementing digital-ready roadmaps. This year's summit will be held on the 25th and 26th of February at the Sarova White Sands, Mombasa. Do not be left behind. Join us in this digital transformation journey. Book your slot now. Call 020-3288-523 or 0719-038-523 today.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Kenya Revenue Authority informs all digital platform owners and their subsidiaries that provide digital services and derive income from the digital marketplace in Kenya. From 1st January 2021, Kenya Revenue Authority informs you that you are liable for digital service tax applicable only to digital services and not goods traded online at the rate of 1.5% of the gross transaction value. To register and pay, log on to itax.kra.go.ke. For more information, visit www.kra.go.ke. Tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Message brought to you by Kenya Snakebite Research and Intervention Center in collaboration with Neglected Tropical Disease Program.
This is NTV.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. You're watching NTV at 1. My name is Zainab Ismail. Our President Uhuru Kenyatta has reiterated Kenya's strong commitment to advancing Africa's agenda at the UN Security Council, especially on matters of climate change and security on the continent, as well as also rallying the Security Council to support more mitigation and adaptation measures in Africa, saying effects of climate change are having adverse socioeconomic impacts on the continent. We'll be getting more details of that address, and we'll also be joining our very own Kennedy Mureithi, who is at the Kasarani Stadium, where President Uhuru Kenyatta is there as well, to get more details of that event. Meanwhile, a 17-year-old girl has been killed and her body found dumped in Funyula in Busia County. According to residents, Immaculate Auma was reported missing on Saturday night after allegedly leaving her home in the company of two friends. Nuru Abdulaziz reports.
Grief has engulfed residents of Namuduru village in Funyula, Busia County. This is due to the killing of a 17-year-old class 6 girl. Auma was reported missing on Saturday night after allegedly leaving her home in the company of two friends to a disco matanga in the neighborhood.
Vile tulikuwa tunarudi hivi tukakutana na huyo kijana hapa, alikuwa anataka kunishika, nikafanya hivi mkono, akashika sister yangu mwenye alikuwa nyuma, huyo mwenye amekufa. Sasa kumshika hivyo, nikaona hivyo, nikakimbia kwenda kutafuta usaidizi. Vile nilikimbia hivi, nikakutana na wale wengine hapo kwa gate, nikamwambia tukujeni msaidie mwenzenyu ameshikwa. Tukikimbia tukirudi hivi hatukumpata.
Sasa mzao wawili wao ndio jaribu kuwauliza ako wapi, mpaka ukifika usiku ndio tukapeleka ripoti kwa polisi.
The body of Immaculate Auma was found dumped in a nearby piece of land.
Nduru ya asubuhi wakipiga ndio sasa tukija tunapata huyo mtoto vile ametupwa hapo, ako hivyo nusu uchi, na kama ni kitendo kile inaonekana alifanywa raping.
Residents have called upon the police to beef up security in the area. The body of the deceased has been taken to Seoport Hospital mortuary awaiting autopsy. Nuru Abdulaziz, NTV.
All right, let's go back to our earlier story on the climate change issues, where President Uhuru Kenyatta has reiterated Kenya's strong commitment to advancing Africa's agenda at the UN Security Council, especially on matters of climate change and security on the continent. At the same time, the president rallying the Security Council to support more mitigation and adaptation measures in Africa, saying effects of climate change are having adverse socioeconomic impacts on the continent. President Kenyatta warned that the Security Council's mandate of maintaining global peace and security will become harder in coming years if the threat of climate change is not addressed adequately.
Kenya's commitment to the environment is unwavering. We acknowledge the Sustainable Development Goals and our Agenda 2030. And we also acknowledge that these cannot be realized if we leave our environment out of the equation. The environment holds and can provide solutions to most of the challenges we face as humanity. And in this regard, Kenya has firmly anchored the environmental pillar in our country's blueprints, and that is our Kenyan Vision 2030, as well as our Big Four agenda.
Now, Boda operators in the country may have gotten a bad representative from the number of accidents attributed to them, but their rights must also be protected on the roads. Beyond that, there is a need to provide cover for that sector of transport, as they largely remain exposed without medical cover. The rate at which Boda accidents are claiming lives in the country is alarming, going by the latest statistics from the National Transport and Safety Authority. Take, for instance, Kilifi County, where in the last 2 months alone, 12 Boda operators have been killed in accidents. Those lucky to survive the accidents, their families are faced with hefty medical bills that leave their resources depleted and having to seek support from friends. Kilifi County is embarking on a sensitization campaign to help them apply more precautionary measures. Boda operators have been urged to enlist with insurance companies to get some sort of cover.
Na hali yenye inavyokuwa potovu ya usalama wao barabarani. Ajali zimekuwa nyingi, kwa hospitali kuna wodi za bodaboda za mifupa. Kila weekendi kuna mazishi ya bodaboda. Nikasema katika mchango wangu kidogo ambao naweza nikapeana kwa bodaboda wa Kilifi, utasaidia kuokoa ajali moja ama kifo kimoja cha bodaboda.
Meanwhile, police in Kimilili in Bungoma County have arrested one person and a Mitsubishi lorry, which is believed to be behind a syndicate of people who have been stealing from residents and their livestock. Police also managed to recover 12 heads of cattle and 10 sheep. The driver of the vehicle, identified as Kenneth Ofula, was also at Sosio area in Kimilili by police officers who were on patrol. Police say that the suspect was in a group of 3 others who managed to escape the trap. The 3 were in a lorry transporting the animals to Musanda in Kakamega County, where 10 more animals were recovered in a home. Kimilili Sub-County Police Boss Mwita Mara told reporters that the group is believed to be behind a syndicate that sells stolen livestock from Chwele and Kimilili to Uganda.
Driver alikuwa na wengine ambao waliweza kufaulu kutoroka baada ya kuona wamevamiwa na maafisa wetu. Waliweza kufaulu kutoroka na mpaka wa sasa tunazidi kuwasaka, na bila shaka tutawapata hivi karibuni na wataletwa kwenye vitabu vya sheria.
The issue of land has proven to be emotive in the country, with many citizens raising complaints about land grabbing and lack of title deeds. Now, residents in Narok County are no exception to this, but on Tuesday, hundreds of them finally received the precious document, rendering them rightful landowners after many decades.
One by one, over 600 residents from Naisoya Narok North Sub-County lined up to receive the documentation that has been elusive for over 45 years, the treasured title deeds. Speaking at a public baraza held at Naisoya Health Center, Narok County Commissioner Evans Achoki asked residents to respect land boundaries as put by the land surveyors and registrar so as to maintain peace.
Nataka kama kuna shida yote ya mpaka, registrar ameeleza. Utaenda kwa ofisi, uweke complaint yako, alafu mambo ya mpaka itatuliwe. Mpaka baina yako na jirani yako sio vita. Ni kuenda kuita registrar aje apime na surveyor.
The land issue at Naisoya adjudication block dates back to the 70s, but the journey to change that started years later when the Ntutu-led commission put boundaries on the forest land in the early 90s, effectively evicting people who had settled in the 5,700 hectares of forest land.
Ningependa kushukuru Mungu Bwana Sisi kwa sababu safari hii ya watu wa Naisoya kuanza kutafuta title deed ulisikia in 1975, wakati mimi nilikuwa karibu na miaka 8 peke yake wakati huo.
Narok County Land Registrar Tom Chepkwesi, however, observed that some people who would have benefited from the title deeds have since passed on. He is calling on immediate beneficiaries to visit his office to initiate the transfer of land. Gena Kirori, NTV.
Meanwhile, the Nakuru County Government, in partnership with clergy from Molo Sub-County, have conducted a training for religious leaders in a bid to reduce the suicide and homicide cases that have been on the rise within the region. The training, facilitated by the county's Department of Health, seeks to equip religious leaders to deal with some of the issues at a community level. In the meeting, attended by 75 clergy persons drawn from different areas within the region, leaders were encouraged to refer extreme cases of mental illnesses to the health facilities. Poverty, marital issues, family conflict and loss of property have been highlighted as some of the causes of depression and death among residents. Since January, 6 deaths have been reported in the area.
Kanisa ndio stage ya kwanza, maana watu wanaenda makanisani, watoto wako makanisani, wamama wako makanisani, wazee pia wanakuja makanisani. Shida yote ile inaletwa makanisani, na ukipata mchungaji hawezi kuelewa shida ya ambayo inahitaji maombi, saa zingine inahitaji ile matibabu direct ya daktari.
Kubaliana na hao kwamba leo ni sensitization na tutaendelea kufanya hivyo katika makanisa, ndio watu wetu wanaweza kutambua haya magonjwa mapema, na tumeweka mikakati katika hospitali zetu na zahanati pia pahali wataweza kuhudumiwa vizuri, ndio tuondoe hii shida ya homicides, suicides na vitu kama hivyo ambavyo zimekithiri sana hapa kwetu Molo.
Traders of fixed income securities are set for greater efficiency in trading following Wednesday's morning's integration of the Nairobi Securities Exchange bond system with Refinitiv's fixed income call-out application, popularly known as FICO. The integration is expected to facilitate trading of fixed income transactions, supporting better price discovery, enhanced market liquidity, improved trade negotiations and execution. Coming a day after turnover in the bonds market stood at 4.9 billion shillings, the integration makes Kenya one of the first frontier markets globally to use an automated over-the-counter fixed income workflow. The integration is also expected to bring about reduced costs by eliminating duplication of related work and manual interventions. Meanwhile, tea farmers will have to brace themselves for tougher times as the prices continue on a downward trend since for the third consecutive year. The global oversupply of the beverage, coupled with market disruptions from the COVID-19 pandemic, have contributed to the lower prices in the current financial year. KTDA is reporting that prices are now down to 13.3% to sell at an average of 239 shillings per kilo over the last 7 months. And transport along the Murang'a-Kiriaini road was disrupted after hundreds of residents protested against diversion to a route they described impassable. Backed by public service operators and Boda operators, the residents camped at Mauaini area, demanding that the contractor creates a diversion along the section as they recounted the Tuesday night revelations. Many said they left Murang'a town at 7 p.m. and arrived home past midnight. Yet on a normal day, the journey takes about 40 minutes. They said this was after the diversion at Muriowanda became impassable and vehicles blocked each other as it is now narrow. The engineer representing the contractor on his part regretted the disruption of the economic activities along the section, saying they are working on the remaining 3.5 kilometers to connect Murang'a and Mugeka section, creating a diversion at the edge of the road.
Kumenyesa pale tunabeba mizigo unakuta mizigo yenyewe hatuwezi kufikisha kwa mwenyewe. Juu barabara yenyewe haina diversion na hakuna barabara ambayo contractor ambayo anapatiwa barabara ya jenge bila kupatiwa pesa ya diversion.
Hii barabara ifunguliwe, watu waache kuwa na hasira kwa sababu hata fare itaongezewa watu. Nauli hapa huwa tunalipa 100, lakini nasikia wengine wakisema wanalipa 250 kwa sababu ya hii shida kadai. Hapa tu kutoka hapa ni kama 3 kilometers.
Barabara wanafunga, hata bike haiwezi pita na mzigo. Wanafunga kabisa, hata pengu kupita ni shida. So tunaomba wafungue barabara ama watengeneze diversion mzuri.
Na tunawatengenezea area kidogo hapa upande wa left ndio tutakuwa tukiendelea na kazi yetu na wao watakuwa wakipitia hapo.
All right, let's take a quick breather. We'll be back with more stories. Stay with us.
I don't know what we're after yet. I'm always checking my phone and you're happy being alone and I got you on my mind. Always on my
mind. One of the best ways to save money is by visualizing what you're saving for. If you need motivation, set saving targets along with a timeline to make it easier to save.
All professionals should join us to benefit from competitive products, high qualifying credit, attractive returns, and services automation. Join us and attain your financial independence. Mhasibu Sacco, the Sacco for professionals. place your order and enjoy free delivery. Reach us on 0723 999981 or 0724 114411 or the details on your screen. Boma Mabati. Mabati ya kila boma.
The magic beckons. From aquatic thrills to wild adventures, experience our latest additions to the magical Kenya Signature Experiences collection, filled with the most unique and authentic Kenyan travel experiences to cure your wanderlust. No matter where you choose to travel in this paradise we get to call home, you will be spoiled for choice and make memories that you'll cherish for a lifetime. Rediscover the magic.
Situated in the Kitengela suburbs, Kitengela Plains is an affordable, pristine residential community of 48 modern villas. Located off Namanga Road, a 30-minute drive from the CBD, the 4-bedroom all-in-suite villa offers a spacious living area, a modern kitchen, a private garden, a play area, and a borehole at only 9.8 million shillings. Call 0710 783 955 or 0798 569 274. Kitengela Plains. Welcome home.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's now take a look at stories making headlines globally. And former Interior Minister Mohamed Bazoum has won Niger's presidential elections, according to provincial results issued as the opposition cried foul and clashes erupted. Speaking to supporters and the press, the ruling party candidate promised to be the president of all. Bazoum picked up 55.75% of Sunday's run of vote, while his opponent, Mohamed Ousmane, garnered 44.25%. The Independent National Electoral Commission said in provisional results that must still be validated by the Constitutional Court. But shortly before the results were announced, Ousmane's campaign blasted the runoff as an electoral hold-up and urged the public to mobilize against it. Some opposition followers hit the streets of the Niger capital, setting fire to tires. The elections have been showcased as the first democratic transition in the history of the coup-prone Sahel state, which is also battling extreme poverty and two bloody jihadist insurgencies. And the body of the Italian ambassador killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo has arrived in Rome as the Rwandan Hutu rebels denied accusations they were behind the attack and instead blamed the armies of the DRC and Rwanda. Luca Atanasio died on Monday after a World Food Programme convoy was ambushed in a dangerous part of eastern DRC. The envoy's Italian bodyguard Vittorio and Congolese driver Mustafa Milambo also died. An Italian military plane carrying the bodies' flag-draped coffins was met at Rome's Campino airport by Prime Minister Mario Draghi. The DRC's interior minister blamed the killings on members of the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda FDLR, a Rwandan Hutu rebel group that has plagued the region for more than a quarter of the century. And 2 soldiers were killed and 7 others injured in an ambush in a central region regularly hit by jihadist attacks. The troops were ambushed en route between Koha and Sevare by an armed terrorist group, according to the army statement. One of the security sources said the target was an army resupply mission. Mali was plunged into conflict in 2012 when local Tuareg radicals, supported by jihadists, revolted in the north of the country. France intervened militarily to crush the rebellion, but the jihadists scattered and regrouped, taking the campaign into central Mali in 2015 and then into neighboring Niger and Burkina Faso. In Mali alone, thousands of civilians and troops have died and hundreds of thousands of people have fled their homes. The Federal Aviation Administration has ordered a deeper inspection of the engines similar to the ones on a Boeing 777 aircraft, which suffered engine failure over Denver earlier this week. The incident, in which a Pratt & Whitney engine burst into flames and scattered debris over a Denver suburb shortly after takeoff for Honolulu, led to scores of Boeing 777s being grounded worldwide over safety concerns. The Denver incident marks the latest safety challenge for Boeing, which recently saw its 737 MAX jets returned to the skies after two deadly crashes that killed about 346 people.
We want to understand what happened and then take the necessary steps to prevent a similar occurrence in the future. You know, this past weekend, we had an incident of an engine failure aboard a Boeing 777 aircraft departing Denver. And we're fortunate there were no fatalities or injuries. Today, the FAA has reviewed all available safety data following the incident. We're in the process of developing and issuing an emergency airworthiness directive that will require either immediate or stepped up inspections of the 777 aircraft using this type of Pratt & Whitney engine.
Meanwhile, still globally, Guinea has finally kicked off an Ebola vaccination drive after a flight delayed by a Saharan dust storm arrived carrying thousands of jobs as the West African country fights to stamp out a resurgence of the deadly virus. A special flight carrying the Merck vaccine finally landed in Guinea late on Monday. Inoculations are also planned in Conakry on Tuesday. Well, the outbreak declared last weekend is the first in the region since a 2013-2016 epidemic left more than 11,300 people dead, mainly in Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone. The start of the inoculation campaign had to be delayed by 1 day after a plane carrying more than 11,000 vaccine doses was unable to land in Guinea's capital, Conakry, due to a dust storm. Health authorities said some of the doses would head straight to Nzakore, the capital of Guinea's southeastern forest region, where 5 people have recently died of Ebola. Now, also just taking a look at what's happening in the country, ODM leader Raila Odinga is currently holding a meeting with youth leaders at the Ufungamano House, drawn from Embu, Tharaka Nithi and Meru, just a day after the Constitution Amendment Bill sailed through to the county assemblies. Let's listen in.
Naona warembo na vijana wamekuja kututembelea. Vijana ni baraka kwa taifa lolote. The youth is a blessing to our nation. It basically shows that the nation is actually expanding. Vijana ndio maua ya taifa. Unakili ya wazee sasa ile imeoza. Hii ndio ile fresh ambayo inakuja. Unajua katika maisha ya nchi ni kama mto, like a river. Some waters are going towards the ocean. Fresh water is coming from the mountains, flowing down. And this is how the nations thrive. These days, we have a very large percentage of our population which is youthful. over 70% of our youth are below the age of 35 years of age. But if you talk about 35 years, we're just going back to 1986. Some of these people were not born before at that time, 1986. Kongo ni jana. 1986, I was serving my fourth year in detention. 1986. Hawelewi. As we talk about second liberation, 1992, up to now is 29 years. There are very many people who are not born at that time. So they don't know what happened at that time. Because what you say, Raila alienda kwa jela, unasema walikuwa wanafanya nini kwa jela? Haujui? Hawelewi. So this is where we're coming from. So when I tell them about the history of liberation of this country, many of them don't understand. There was a time when this country was in a state of emergency. Walking around like this was not easy. To come like you people have come to Nairobi, you needed to have a special pass. A special pass. It was called Kikuyu Meru Embu Pass. I've got a copy of it in my car. Maurice. Where's Maurice? You can go and get the pass. No. No. Pass me from here. Sorry? Pass me. You had to have a special pass. Kikuyu Meru Embu Pass. And those days it was called Kenya Broadcasting Service Radio. Was announcing in the morning, early morning, ati Wakikuyu, Wameru na Waembu ni watu hatari. Ukiona mmoja akipita, piga report kwa polisi mara moja. Those days. So this is how Kenya was divided. Because you see, what happened is, when they came, they took what they called the high-yielding part of the country, higher altitude lands, which were good climatically for their farming. And that was basically from Mount Kenya, slopes of Mount Kenya to Mount Elgon. And they called that the White Highlands. White Highlands. Some of Africa who was there, alitolewa kwa shamba yake, kwa kanda, called Bloody African. The African was just now made as a laborer, working on the white man's shamba. And that is how Kenya existed for 60 years that way. You are a foreigner in your own country, your own land. That's what actually compelled Kenyans to rise up to liberate the country.
ODM leader Raila Odinga there speaking to some of the leaders from 3 different counties. Our Kennedy Mureithi is there. We'll be bringing us more details in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, taking a look at what's happening in the world of sports. The national men's basketball team is back in the country after making history by qualifying for Africa's biggest basketball tournament, the FIBA AfroBasket, for the first time in 28 years. Kenya Morans, who also made history by booking a maiden ticket to the 2023 World Cup qualifiers, jetted in from Yaoundé in Cameroon in the early hours of Wednesday to a triumphant welcome at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The team was ushered with song and dance and received by Kenya Basketball Federation officials led by President Paul Otula and Ministry of Sports Commissioner Japson Gitonga. The team is coached by Australian Elizabeth Mills, who added to the magic by becoming the first woman to qualify a men's national team for the tournament.
were not surprised because even when you see in the last dying seconds, the ball had to go to him. He's our go-to guy. He's the guy that we call upon in situations like that, and he has never failed us. He always comes up on top. So even as we were there, when he had the ball, we just believed that we knew that Taylor was going to make that shot because that's him.
We need more women in these kind of positions. How do we expect young women to grow up to do great things if they don't have visible role models? As well as we want young boys and young men to realize that gender doesn't matter. You can be taught by any coach, male or female. The only thing that matters is qualifications and experience.
And Tiger Woods is awake and responsive following surgery on serious leg injuries suffered in a single car crash in Los Angeles on Tuesday, according to a statement released via his Twitter account. The 15-time golf major champion had to be removed from the wreck by firefighters and paramedics. The 45-year-old suffered serious leg injuries, with doctors saying that he is lucky to be alive. The golfer was not able to stand under his own power before being removed from the vehicle, which had sustained major damage. The American was wearing his seatbelt and was still calm and lucid when he told paramedics his name. Global personalities across sport and politics have come to show support for arguably the greatest golfer of modern times, with former U.S. Presidents Barack Obama and Donald Trump wishing Tiger a quick recovery. And Robert Lewandowski became the UEFA Champions League's third top scorer of all time as holders Bayern Munich put one foot in the quarterfinals with a 4-1 thrashing of Lazio in their last 16th leg in Rome. Their pool opener, the scoring with his 72nd goal to overtake Raul as the tournament's third highest scorer before Jamal Musiala made his own history, became the youngest English scorer in the Champions League at 17 with his 24th minute goal. Leroy Sane then added a third and then forced an own goal before Lazio responded through Joaquin Correa. Bayern host Lazio, who are making their first appearance in the knockout stages for 21 years in the return leg on the 17th of March. Meanwhile, Olivier Giroud's spectacular overhead kick gave Chelsea a crucial 1-0 away win against Atletico Madrid in Bucharest. Tonight's games see Real Madrid away to Atalanta and Manchester City take on Mönchengladbach. And that's all we had lined up for you this hour. Many thanks for watching. More news at our 7 and 9 p.m. bulletins. Stay with us. Have yourself a lovely afternoon. My name is Zainab Ismail.